But few people drawn that, right? So even they send the photo of that. So that was good. I'm okay with that. Okay. So assume that this is a circle. Okay, and it is given us this distance is 80 mm. So that means the radius should be. I mean the diameter should be 160 mm. Okay, so the two revolution means it said like the revolution reaches a maximum distance of 80 mm from the center. So from here it reaches a distance of 80 mm. Okay, so two revolution means what happens? So when I explained in the class, I have shown for one revolution, that is for 360 degree. Two revolution means it should go for 360 into 2, that is 720 degree, something like this. If it originates from here, this is one revolution and something like this, two revolution. So that's what it says. So to do that, what you need to do is you need to divide this. So see, for example, O2R, for instance. So you need to divide this into 16 divisions. Okay. So that means here it will start from 0 and the R will be the 16th division, and the circle you need to divide into 8 divisions. So what happens when you divide that into 8 divisions? So for till 8, for example, till 8th division, it will complete this point. I'll show you. So 8th point, it complete one revolution. From 8th point to 16th division, it will complete the second division. So that's how the two revolutions of the spiral needs to be done. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the circle, 8 divisions, and over line is 16 division. So if you do that, so in the over line from 0 to 8, it will complete one revolution, and from 8 to 16, it will complete the second revolution. Okay, so that's how it needs to be drawn. Okay. Okay, any other doubts? Felt like your assignment 4 is the simplest of the lot because the involutes are very straightforward. Only the tricky part is to do the cycloid, but still, it's not that difficult. Okay.
Minimum radius 1.16 mm.
What?
Base minimum radius 16 mm.
What is minimum radius? I'm not getting what you are.
Instead of starting from the center.
Yeah, why you did that? Why you did that? You referred some books or something like that. Am I right?
It's providing some steps in between. So I refer the book.
No, but minimum radius is not given, so that means it need to be assumed as 0, right? Let's discuss about theory of projections. Okay, whether my PowerPoint is visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, okay. So what happens is in a real world, the products are parts. In real world, most of these parts are made of 3D. Most of them are 3D parts. Like it has 3 dimensions, like length, breadth, or width. Okay, whatever you call them, length, breadth, and height. So these parts have 3 dimensions. Okay, when you try to draw these 3 dimensions in the drawing sheet, you will get something like this. For instance, I'm drawing for a cube. So now I mentioned the length and width of the part. So if I extend it something like this, you will get the third dimension. Whether it looks like a cube, Are you able to
Yes,
imagine?
sir.
So it's a cube, okay? So it has three faces visible, one, two, three, and three faces just behind each of the faces, okay? So when you are drawing all the three dimensions in the drawing sheet, then this particular drawing is called pictorial drawing. So these drawings are called pictorial drawings. But the problem with this pictorial drawings is it's hard to dimension because in the first class we discussed this, right? So in order to exactly communicate what you intend to do, so in order to exactly communicate through the drawing, need to mention all the dimensions. So that is, you need to mention the locational dimension, and as well as the functional dimension in order to exactly communicate the purpose of the drawing. Okay. So, but what happens is in the pictorial drawing, so though it is easy to visualize, so even as a non-technical person, even I mean non-technical in the sense like even if a person is not from the engineering background, that person can easily visualize or easily understand. So this one represents a cube, or so something like this. If I draw like this, so this one represents cone. So even a non-engineer can easily understand these pictorial drawing. But the problem with the pictorial drawing is it's hard to provide the necessary information, that is the location and the functional dimension. So in order to make it convenient to describe all the technical terms, so they have started to do the projections. Okay, so from the pictorial drawing, uh, the projections has been started. See, for instance, in the next slide, so you look at this. So for a moment, you assume that instead of a person here, assume that there is a light source, something like this. Okay. If you keep an object in front of the light source, see, for example, you have a vertical wall, and for a moment, assume that this is a wall. Okay, you have a vertical wall, and in front of that, you kept an object, something like this. You hanged an object. So it's a cube, okay, and you have placed a light source somewhere here. So if you switch on the light source, what will happen? What will happen?
The
B.
No, don't talk technique.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
yes, sir.
So my next question is whether this shadow will be bigger than object or smaller.
Bigger than object.
Bigger object.
Always, always or
Bigger.
Yes, sir. In
Bigger.
this case, it
no. My question is whether the shadow can be smaller, whether it can be smaller than the object, whether it is possible.
yes, sir. It is possible when
Yes.
Yes, sir.
position of
So,
light.
so he,
Can someone explain how this can occur?
Sir,
I want
so
the shadow smaller than the object. What?
Sir, if we move the light away from the object,
right.
Okay, away from the object, what will happen?
Sir,
shadow
sir,
Yeah, tell me. So you try to visualize that. If you keep on moving the light source away from the object, what will happen? So you will get the shadow to the exact size of the object. Right? Are you able to understand this point? The light
Yes,
source is
sir.
at an infinite distance. So the size of the shadow and the object will be equal. Whether you are able to visualize that?
sir, if
light source is bigger than object, then in an image will be shorter, smaller.
Can you say it again? When the
When light source is bigger than object, then image will be smaller. It can be like
whether that is possible?
it's
No, I don't think so. It is possible because so irrespective of the size of the light, because the size of the light doesn't matter. The distance from the object to the light, the distance from the object to the vertical one, that matters. The light source doesn't matter. Okay. So because what happened? So the light source, that is the light rays, will start to diverge from the point of source, and it will try to trace the corners and the edges of the object, and based on that the shadow will fall on the vertical wall. Okay, when you move this light source to an infinite distance, what will happen? These lines, right? These lines are called the light rays. So these lines will become parallel to each other. Okay, so the worst case is it can become parallel to each other. So whereas it's not possible that, so what he's trying to say is if the light source is big, these lines instead of diverging, it will start converging. So that's what he's trying to say. But is it possible whether these light rays can converge from the source to the object?
No, sir.
No.
No, the converging cannot happen. Only it can diverge, or worst case, these lines will become parallel to each other. So when these lines become parallel to each other, so that means if
We will see size of image.
yeah,
Shape.
if the light rays parallel to each other, you will get this condition. When the light rays diverge from the source, you will get this case. So light source never converge. So even though if it converges, so from the point of the object to the wall, so it'll start becoming parallel to each other. Okay, so in order to achieve this condition, you need to move the light source to an infinite distance. So when you move the light source to an infinite distance, the light phase will be, okay, the person who observer. Okay, the person who observes. So if he is very close to the object, his line of sight, which is also called as projectors. Hereafter, a line of sight is also called as projectors. Okay, so these projectors will start diverging, and you will get a bigger shadow. Here, the shadow is called as view. Okay, so whereas if a person is like at an infinite distance, he will get something like this. He will get something like this. See, the observer at infinite distance, when he move to an infinite distance, the projectors will become parallel rays. So he will get exact size of the view will be exact size of the object. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if you have any doubts in this, like I'm ready to explain it, because so this is the basic concept for these projections. Once if you're clear with that, it's very easy for you to maybe like to complete, to understand the next 2 to 3 modules. Okay, so it's the basics for the projections, the whole projections. Okay, so if you have any doubts, feel free to ask. So I'm ready to clarify. No doubts. Okay. So coming to this, basically the projections are classified into 2 types. So the first one is the parallel projection. So as I shown in the previous slide, that is When an observer is at infinite distance, you will get parallel projection. The second one is called the perspective projection. Okay, so the perspective projection is like when the position of the observer is very close to the object, and also the projectors are diverging. Okay, the projectors diverge, you will get here, and when the projectors are parallel to each other, you will get this. Okay, so under this parallel projections, it's broadly classified into oblique projection and orthographic projection. So we are concerned about orthographic projection. So that is in our syllabus. Okay, so under orthographic projection, which is also called as multi-view projections. Okay, in orthographics, you will get multiple views. So see, for instance, I have an object like this. Again, I am going to draw. So this rectangle here, and I here that. Then he will come again here and he will take one more view. So that is called multiple views. Okay. So multiple view projection has two standards. The first one is first angle projection standard. This is called a standard. First angle projection standard, and the third angle. In India, we are following the first angle projection standard, whereas in USA, they are following third angle projection standard. Okay. So what is the difference between first angle and third angle? We will be seeing in the coming slides. Okay. So this comes under parallel projections. Okay. Under perspective projection. So perspective projection is also called as pictorial projection. So I made a small mistake here. Actually, this should not come here. This should come here. Okay. I don't know how this mistake happened. So perspective, because this axiomatic projection will also come under parallel projection. So the perspective projection is a divergent projection. So I showed in the first slide, right? So this is an example for perspective projection. So under parallel projection, other than oblique and orthographic projections, we will have one more projection that is called axiometric projection, which is also called as pictorial projection. In that, again, there are three types. So these are called like different standards. In that, we are going to see the isometric. Okay. So in the whole, we will be going to discuss two topics in projection. One is under orthographic first angle projection, under axiometric isometric projection. So we will be discussing these three topics in the next 3 to 4 modules. Okay. Is that clear? And also, in this class, I'll try to explain the meaning of this particular symbol. You will be drawing this symbol in the drawing sheet, right? So I'll be explaining the meaning of this symbol. Okay. So we've done the parallel projections. Okay. So in the first, in this class, we are going to discuss the orthographic projection. So we will be discussing this orthographic projection in this class. Okay. Under orthographic projection, so we will be following a quadrant pattern. Okay. So quadrant pattern in the sense, we are going to consider two planes. One is the vertical plane, and the other one is the horizontal plane. So in the 4-quadrant system, we will be intersecting the vertical plane and the horizontal plane, something like this. So this is my vertical plane and this is my horizontal plane. So we will be intersecting the vertical plane and horizontal plane, something like this, in order to arrive to this quadrant system. In this quadrant system, we are going to consider, so this is my first quadrant and this is my second quadrant. So this is my second quadrant and this is my third quadrant, and this will be my fourth quadrant. Okay. So always you need to follow this this process. So always this will be the first quadrant. So this will be my first quadrant when my observer is somewhere here. So the position of the observer is important. When my observer is here, always this will be my first quadrant, second quadrant, third and fourth quadrant. So this whole quadrant system is achieved by intersecting the vertical plane and the horizontal plane. Okay. When you intersect two planes, you will get an intersection line something like this. So which is termed by x and y. So this particular line is called a reference line. The intersection of the vertical plane and the horizontal plane is called reference line. Okay. So is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in order to convert this, because this quadrant system is a three-dimensional quadrant system, right? So in order to make it simple, what we are going to do is we are going to observe from here. So if you see from here, what you will see? Are you able to understand my question? So I have a four quadrant system like this, and if I observe from here, what I will see?
So we are observing from third quadrant.
What?
So we are observing from third quadrant or outer.
No. You are just perpendicular to this quadrant system. You are just away from the quadrant system, somewhere here. Somewhere here. You are standing perpendicular to this quadrant system, somewhere away from the quadrant system, something like this. You are standing and seeing. What you will be seeing? This will try to divert something like this, and you will try to track the edges of the visual rays. So if you do that, what you will see?
Oh, straight line.
What?
Straight line.
How the two straight line will look? It will look like a plus. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you see from here, you will see the intersection of two straight lines, something like this, and that will look like a plus symbol. So if you see from here, you will get something like this. Am I right? If you are getting the plus sign, so which is your first quadrant? Can someone say?
The upper right.
So this is my first quadrant. Am I right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
And this is my
Second quadrant.
Second.
Z.
here. He will be standing somewhere here. Am I right? He'll be standing somewhere here. Okay, because if you see from the observer, from here you could see the observer also. He'll be at some distance from this horizontal plane. So his position will be something like this. Am I right? And what about this XY line? How the whether the XY line will be visible from here?
X point visible, sir.
Yeah, because the Y point will be just behind the X point. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
So so it will look like a point somewhere here. So Y point will be behind that, okay? And this will be my vertical plane, and this will be my horizontal plane, and the position of the observer will be somewhere here. So I'll just erase this.
वर्टिकल प्लेन नहीं दिखेगा
What?
वर्टिकल प्लेन
So this is my vertical plane. I'm not getting you. What you are saying? Vertical plane, and this will be my horizontal plane. The intersection point is nothing but my reference point, and your first quadrant will be here, second will be here, third and fourth. Okay, and the position of the observer will always remain here. So, irrespective of the quadrant you are considering, so the position of the observer will not change. Is that clear?
Yes,
So the
sir.
next thing is, yeah, tell me. Okay, so the next thing is when you set something like this in the first quadrant, and if you take the projection, so you will get the projection like this, right? See, something like this. I'll be showing here. See, I have a cube like this, and the observer will be here. If he sees and if he tries to track with the end projectors, he'll get something like this, right? And he will be able to see the C1 view somewhere here. So if an observer stands parallel to the vertical plane, so then he will get a view. So that particular view is called front view. Whereas if the observer moves parallel to the horizontal plane, something like this, and if he takes a view, so he will be on top of the object. So and he will get a view somewhere like this, right? So that particular view is called the top view. Okay, so I'll repeat again. If the observer stands in front of the vertical plane, he will get front view, and if the observer stands in front of, that means parallel to the horizontal plane, then he will get a view that is called top view. So this is how the multiple views are obtained: the front view and top view. So the front view will fall here, and the top view will fall here. Is it clear? So any doubts till this? So any doubts till this?
No, sir. No,
If you have a doubt, you just try to clarify that, because so I'll be adding concepts from this as the base. Okay. So next, instead of this first quadrant, if I place my object in this second quadrant, somewhere like this. Okay. So this is the position of the observer for top view, and this is the position of the observer for the front view. So irrespective of the quadrant, if you want to take the front view, the observer should stand here, and irrespective of the quadrant, if you want to take the top view, the observer should stand here. Okay. So when you place the object here, so you will not be able to see the object, right? Because the vertical plane is in between the observer and the object. So in order to make it convenient, what we are going to assume is the vertical plane and the horizontal plane is always a transparent plane. It's a transparent imaginary plane. So the plane is imaginary, that is secondary. But it's a transparent plane. In order to ensure that, so you can see through the plane to take the view of an object in the second quadrant. Okay, so then only it will be possible to fix the position of the observer. Okay, so if the observer stands here and if the object is in the second quadrant, so you will get the front view something like this, and the top view will get something like this. Okay, so if the object is placed in the third quadrant, the front view you will get like this, sorry, top view, and the front view you will get here. Okay, so front view, top view. So top view and front. When it is in the fourth quadrant, you will get something like this. So this will be my top view, and this will be my front view. Okay, so this is how the views will be obtained. But irrespective of the quadrant, I'm repeating again, the position of the observer will not be changed. Okay, he will be standing in the same position. Okay, so next thing is, I'll go to the next slide. I'll go a little later. Let's take the first quadrant alone. So this is my first quadrant. Okay, so if I see from here, you will see an L shape. So I drawn it here, and the vertical plane, horizontal plane, and reference plane. Okay, so this will be the position of the observer for front view and the position of the observer for top view. Okay. So see, for instance, I have a point something like this, and the point will be projected like this for front view. You will get here, and projector for top view, you will get somewhere here. So if you see from this view, what will happen? So the point will be marked here for front view and marked here for top view. Okay. So again, it's an L-shaped thing, right? It's very difficult to always make this drawing with this L shape because it is the intersection of two planes. But our drawing sheet is made of a single plane. It has only one plane, right? Does not have a plane perpendicular to one plane. Our drawing sheet is made of single plane. In order to make it convenient to draw, what we are going to do is, so we will be rotating this horizontal plane clockwise 90 degree like this. Okay. If you rotate clockwise 90 degree, the vertical plane and the horizontal plane will become parallel to each other. So you will get something like this. Are you able to visualize this? This will be your vertical plane and this will be your horizontal plane. So in other words, the front view you will get above the reference line and the top view you will get below the reference line. Are you able to visualize this? Why we are doing this?
Yes, sir.
So I took only the first quadrant and I rotated this horizontal plane 90 degree like this in order to make it parallel to vertical plane. Okay, but in order to make it standard, so I'll go back to the previous slide. In order to make it uniform, always the horizontal plane will be rotated and always it will be rotated for 90 degree and always the rotation will happen in the clockwise direction. If it is in the first quadrant, so this will be rotated like this for 90 degree clockwise. Okay. If it is in the second quadrant, so this will be rotated for 90 degree clockwise. So in the second quadrant, if I rotate it for 90 degree clockwise, what will happen?
It will become like a vertical plane.
So the horizontal plane will overlap with the vertical plane. Am I right?
Sorry, sir.
So it will get overlapped with the vertical plane. And when you are in the third quadrant, again you will rotate the clockwise 90 degree. So if you do that, the horizontal plane will go above the vertical plane. And when we are in the fourth quadrant, it will get overlapped. So something like this will happen. I'll show the pattern of planes and the views. Okay. So when you are in the first quadrant, so that this is your reference line X. So the vertical plane will be above the reference line and the horizontal plane will be below the reference line. And you will get the front view here and the top view here. Okay, for the first quadrant. And for the second quadrant, so this will be your reference line. And as is shown before, it will get overlapped, right? So both front view and both the vertical plane and the horizontal plane, that will be above the reference line. So VP will be here and HP will be here. So if you get overlap, so view will also get overlapped. So front view you will get here and the top view also you will get above the reference line. Okay. So when you move to the third quadrant, so this will be my reference line, and if you rotate, your horizontal plane will be above the reference line and the vertical plane will be below the reference line, something like this. So you'll get your top view above the reference line and front view below the reference line. When you go to the fourth quadrant, X, Y, you will get both below the reference line, that is VP and HP, and the front view and top view you will get below the reference line. Okay, so this is the pattern of the planes and view positions. Okay, so are you able to understand this? So if you have any doubts till this, you can ask me. So I'll give you some 2-3 minutes. You think you run through whatever we discussed in this class, and if you have any doubts, let me know. Okay.
Repeat
Sir, how this pattern gets generated?
How this pattern will generated? Okay. So just give me a moment. You are able to understand the. So I'll just draw it again in the fourth quadrant system. So I drawn this 4 quadrant system. Are you able to visualize this?
Yes, sir.
So this is my first quadrant, am I right?
Yes, sir.
So I'll draw this separately here in the first quadrant alone. So if I draw the first quadrant alone, so this will be my vertical plane and this will be my horizontal plane. Okay. And first, what happens? The vertical plane, horizontal plane are two mutually perpendicular planes, and it got intersected at point X and Y. It's mutually a perpendicular plane. Okay. So, but our drawing sheet is made of a single plane. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So a mutually perpendicular plane, if you are drawing that in a drawing sheet, so again that will become a 3-dimensional object. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So, but our objective is to draw the 2-dimensional object. See, orthographic projection is to convert a 3D object into 2D object. That's the objective of the orthographic projection. And the 2D with multiple views. Okay. So that is the objective of the orthographic projection. Whereas if you try to draw mutually perpendicular planes in a drawing sheet, it will become a 3D. So the objective of orthographic will not be satisfied. So in order to how to say the manage that, what we are going to do is we are going to rotate the horizontal plane clockwise 90 degree like this. 90 degree clockwise, the horizontal plane. If I rotate horizontal plane clockwise, what will happen? You will get something like this. So this will be my x and this will be my y and this will be my vertical plane and this will be my horizontal plane. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So you are rotating the horizontal plane clockwise for the first quadrant, and similarly you need to rotate the horizontal plane for the other quadrants as well. See, for instance, so if you rotate like this, you will get this pattern. Okay. So what about the front view? See, as I told you before, so while taking the front view, the position of the observer will be perpendicular to, parallel to the vertical plane. So if you see, the front view will be, you will get the front view somewhere here. Am I right?
Yes,
So
sir.
the front view you will get here. Okay. So when you want to take the top view, so the position of the observer will go parallel to the horizontal plane, something like this. You will see from here. So the top view you will get here. So the reason is like you are going to the top of the object. So that's why it's called top view. Here you are going to the front of the object. That's why it's called front view. Okay. So you will get the front view here and the top view here for the first quadrant. Okay. And let's consider the second quadrant, that is this spot. Okay. Let me draw this. So I have drawn the second quadrant, this spot. Are you able to visualize this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So the second quadrant is just behind the first quadrant. So this will be my vertical plane and this will be my horizontal plane. So again, in order to achieve suitable to draw in the drawing sheet, so I am going to rotate the horizontal plane like this for 90 degree clockwise. As I told you before, irrespective of the quadrant, the horizontal plane will be rotated for clockwise 90 degree. If I rotate this, what will happen? So the horizontal plane and the vertical plane will get overlapped. So you will get, so this is the reference line, this is xy. So the vertical plane and the horizontal plane both will be above the reference line. If both are above the reference line, then their corresponding views will also be there, right? So wherever the vertical plane is there, you will get the front view there, and wherever the horizontal plane is there, you will get the top view there. So FV is for front view and TV is for top view. You will get something like this. If you rotate the position, you will get something like this. Are you able to visualize?
Yes, sir.
Then what will happen to third angle projection? Can someone explain? So this is the third quadrant. So if you do for the third quadrant, so let me draw the third quadrant. So this is my third quadrant. and your object is somewhere here. Okay, so if you rotate it, what will happen? So this is my horizontal plane and this is my vertical plane. So if you rotate, what will happen? Can someone say the position of the front view and top view after rotating?
Sir, top view in horizontal plane and front view in the vertical plane.
Yeah, that's okay. But so reference to this reference line, with reference to this reference line, where I will get my top view and where I will get my front view.
Above the XY horizontal plane will come and below the XY vertical plane.
Yeah. So wherever you place this, above the reference line and below the reference line, you will get vertical plane. And as you already know, wherever the vertical plane is there you will get the front view. And wherever the horizontal plane is, you will get the top view. So when you are considering the third quadrant. And what about fourth quadrant? Can someone answer that?
Sir, both of the plane will get overlapped in orthographic.
So both will be overlap. So what will be the question? It's above reference line or below reference line?
Below the reference line.
It's below reference line.
Below the reference line. Okay. So that's how we got this. Now whether you are able to visualize this?
Yes.
Okay. So this will be the pattern of the planes and the position of the views. Okay. So for all quadrants. Okay. So I hope you are clear this. So now we will be discussing about so this is the basics, right? So now let's start the projection. So our objective is to draw the projection for real world objects. But if we directly start for the three-dimensional objects, it will be very difficult to understand. So what we are going to do is we are going to slowly move into the topic. Like first we will start with zero-dimensional objects, which is nothing but points. Then one-dimensional object, which is nothing but what is a one-dimensional object?
Straight line or line.
Straight line. Then we'll slowly go to two-dimensional object, so which is nothing but a plane. Then finally we'll go to three-dimensional object, regular solids. So the regular solids are nothing but cube, cuboid, sphere, cone, prisms and pyramids. So after completing this, we'll go to real objects. Okay. So this is our objective, but in order to understand the basics, we will go step by step. Okay. So that is the plan for the coming two modules. Okay. So the overall objective of this projection is, so after end of this talk, after end of the whole two module, so you will be in a position to draw a projection for a real world object, or you will be able to draw the views given to you. Okay. Multi views given to you. Okay. So first let's start with the point, projection of point. Okay. See, before getting into that, I just want to add one point here. Okay. So the first angle projection and the third angle projection, if you could recall few slides before, in the types of projections under multi-view, I showed only first angle and third angle. I didn't show second and fourth. Have someone noticed that? views. Whereas someone noticed that, so go to this,
Yes, sir.
see here, under multi-view, I mentioned only the first angle and the third angle. I didn't mention the second and fourth angle, which is obtained from the second and fourth quadrant. I didn't mention that. I hope you noticed, right? I'll tell you the reason for that. See, when you are taking the projections from the second quadrant and the third quadrant, the views will get overlapped. Okay. See, for instance, I am taking the projection of a rectangle. So, for instance, in the front view, the length and breadth will be visible. Length and breadth will be visible. And in the top view, the length and width will be visible. You will get something like this. Okay, you will get an overlapping views like this. So it will be very confusing to read the overlapping view. So that's why the second quadrant projection and the fourth quadrant projections are not considered for real world objects. Okay, so the second quadrant and fourth quadrant we will be using only for the projection of points for understanding the concept. Whereas after the projection of points, the second quadrant and the fourth quadrant will not be considered. So that's why in the types of projection I didn't mention these two quadrants. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now let's move to the projection of points. So let me draw the four quadrant system. So this is my four quadrant system, and this will be my horizontal plane, and this will be my vertical plane. Okay. So assume that I have a point here, something like this. Okay. So if I ask you to, and this is the position of the observer for front view, and this is the position of the observer for top view. He will be standing above the point. Here he will be standing in front of the point. Okay. So from here, if I want to describe the position of the point, how will I describe? Can someone try? I want to.
Sir, its front view projection will be on the vertical plane and the top view will be on the horizontal plane.
No. Forget about views. I just want to explain the position alone. So I want to say like where the point is.
Sir, for that we need some coordinate points, sir.
Okay, so assume that this point is say 25 mm. This distance is 25 mm, and this distance is say 30 mm. Okay, then how you will explain that?
Sir, we will explain that it is a point in 2D plane which is 25 from the horizontal and 30 from the vertical.
Yeah, 25 from the horizontal and 30 from the vertical. But whether it is in front of the horizontal, above the horizontal or below the horizontal, that you need to explain, right?
Okay, sir.
Because 25 mm means both the side it is possible. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, for example, if I want to explain that, So the point is, I'll explain something like this: 25 mm above HP and 30 mm in front of VP. If I say that, can you position the point in the first quadrant?
Sir, in spite of getting in front, what can we use the right hand side? Because in front, sir,
No,
Side
your position is
using
here. So your position is here. See, you have vertical plane in front of you. Okay. So the point is in front of vertical plane or behind the vertical plane. So that's how you can explain that. In front or behind. Is it clear?
okay, sir.
So if I say one more point, something like this: point B is 30 mm below HP and 25 mm behind VP. So in which quadrant the point B is?
Third quadrant.
Third quadrant. So whether others are able to visualize this?
Yes, sir.
So it is somewhere in the third quadrant. See, it is 30 mm below HP. So this is my HP and it is 30 mm below HP. So this distance should be 30 mm. It's below HP and it is 25 mm behind VP. So this distance is 25 mm. So that's why I told you, you need to remember one thing: the position of the observer is very important. So that's why during the projections, they are maintaining this position of the observer. So you can change everything, but the position of the observer cannot be changed. So you see, for example, to take the front view, you cannot go below like this. It should be always like here. And for the front view, it should be always like here. Okay, can someone explain like how to denote a point is in the fourth quadrant?
Sir, like we will be saying that it is 25 millimeter below the HP and 30 millimeter in front of the vertical point.
Below HP and
And
in front of VP.
in
So
front of
forget about the distance, it should be below HP and in front of VP. And what about this? Behind VP
And VP
and above
above.
HP. Am I right?
yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll erase these parts because these I have drawn for your understanding. So for second quadrant, behind VP and above HP. For first quadrant, in front of VP and above HP. And for fourth quadrant,
Below HP and
below HP and in front of VP. For the third, behind VP and below HP. Okay, so this is how the positions of the. Let's see one. Okay, I'll write the question here. Okay. So let's see how to solve this problem. So first, let me draw the quadrant. So I have drawn the first quadrant, and so I hope most of you could understand like this point is in the first quadrant. Am I right?
Yes,
Because
sir.
it is
Yes,
above
sir.
HP and in front of VP, something like this. So this is the question of the point. Okay. And so let's take the question of the observer. So when an observer sees from here, his visual ray will try to track the point something like this, and with the help of the projector, the point will be projected on the vertical plane something like this. Vertical plane something like this. Okay. So when again for the top view, he will be moving here, right? So his question will be something like this, and he will try to take the projection of the point, and so his visual ray will track the point, and with the help of the end projector, the point will be projected on the horizontal plane, something like this. Okay. So when you are doing that, you also need to draw the how to say the projection of this line as well. So see, let's name. So it is mentioned as the point is A. So when you are naming it, so this is the point A. So the front view always you need to mention with small letter of A dash. The front view will always be like this. The small letter of that particular point, and you need to add dash. The top view you need to mention only with a small letter, something like this. So you need to follow this. Okay. So and the second thing is, so you will get the see. I have one question. See, in order to make it convenient to draw in the drawing sheet, we will be rotating this to clockwise 90 degree, right? Am I right? This will be rotated clockwise 90 degree. If you rotate like this, you will get A dash and A point A dash and A. So whether both the points will be in the straight line or not, that's my question.
Sir, whatever you are writing on the screen is not covering.
I'll get something like this, right? So I'll get point A dash here. I'll get point A dash here and A here. So let me name this. So this is my A dash and this is my A. My question is whether both the point will be in the straight line or not. That is my question.
Yes, sir.
That's a straight line.
Straight line.
So you get that in straight line, right? So you need to represent that as well. So you need to represent it like this. If someone's audio is disturbing, mute that. So you'll get something like this. It will be right. So I hope everyone is able to understand. Okay. So after rotating this, you will be visualizing this. But when you are drawing it in the drawing sheet, you need to draw something like this. We need to draw the reference line X and Y, and you need to mention the point something like this with the help of HP pencil. and you need to draw the straight line connecting these 2 points, something like this. And after that, you need to name the point, that is A dash and A. Then finally, you need to dimension it. And this should be my. So, what is this distance? What is this distance? Can someone say?
35. No, 40. 40.
Whether this distance is 35 or 40. Everyone.
Upper one is
AA dash equals to 80 millimeter.
A is equal to.
80 millimeter.
How come you got 80 come here? See, if you're standing here, you will be able to see this distance, or I mean, you are standing here and you will be able to see the distance between AA or AA dash. So, which distance you could visually differentiate?
Sorry, AA.
AA.
AA will be visible, whereas AA dash will look like a point. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
So that means this distance will not be visible. Only AA will be visible. So in the front view, that AA distance will be visible, which is nothing but the distance above HP, that is 40.
40.
So this will be over 40. And this will be your 35. Am I right?
Yes.
So this is how you need to draw in the drawing sheet. And I'll tell this, a reference line should be drawn with 2H pencil. Point should be dark. Point should be with HB pencil. And text should be with HB pencil. And what is the name of this line? What is the name of this line?
What line?
Projector line. That should be drawn with 2H pencil. Okay. So this is how you need to draw. Is that clear?
Yes.
So you try to copy this. We will see 2 or 3 more problems, one for each quadrant. You try to copy this. You try to copy all these 3 drawings. So then only you will understand. Okay. Okay. So in which quadrant the point B belongs?
Sir, I think even, sir, it will,
What are you saying? You think?
sir, there is error in the statement, sir. It will be above HP and behind VP, sir. It will,
Oh, sorry, behind. Yeah, that's right.
So it will be below now.
Yeah, it's good. Hit 30 mm behind VP and 20 mm above HT. Am I right?
Yes.
yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Second quadrant.
So second quadrant.
Second quadrant.
Yeah, that's right. So one more thing I forgot to mention. So I told you, right? So this is the solution for the problem. Okay. So you need to also mention like which is your VP and which is your HP. I forgot to note that. So you need to mention, you need to name the reference light with capital XY, and also you need to mention your VP and HP. So this will be helpful to identify whether it's a first angle projection or second or third or fourth. Okay. So I forgot to mention that before. You mentioned that the VP and HP here. Okay. Let's move to this. So it's in the second quadrant. So your VP will be here and HP will also be here. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So the point is 20 mm above HP. So I'll get a point here and a 30 mm behind you. So both the point I will get something like this. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
So I need to mention with a straight line something like this. Okay. So which point represents the front view and which point represents the top view? Can you say that? So this point is for 20 mm, this point is for 30 mm. So which point represents front view and which point represents the top view?
Sir, the below point represents the top view, sir, and the upper point.
So that means the 20 mm point represents the top view. That's what you are trying to say,
Yes.
right?
Yes, sir.
So
Okay, so
20 mm top view.
20 mm is top view and 30 mm is front view. Are there everyone accepting that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
No, sir, it is 30
No,
mm
sir,
is top
reverse.
view, sir. And
See, I think few students didn't understand the concept well. That's what I feel. See, look at here. So this is the second quadrant. Okay. So the point is here. Okay. And 30 mm behind VP. So this distance is 30 mm. So you'll get the projection here and one more projection here. And this distance is 30 mm and this distance is 20 mm. If the observer is here, he will see the 30 mm line or 20 mm line.
20 mm.
The 30 mm line will look like a point. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So in the
Yes, sir.
front view, the 20 mm will be visible. So if you are not clear, you ask again. I can explain that. But make sure that you are clear before this particular class. Because from next one onwards, we are going to add multiple concepts about this. So this will be my front view, that is A dash. And the 30 mm line will be visible in the top view. So that will be my A. Okay. Sorry. So this line, name of this line is B, right? So this point will be my B dash and this will be my B. Okay. So and you need to dimension this something like this. So this should be 30 and this should be 20. So is that here? This is a solution for this problem. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We'll see one problem for the third quadrant. Point C, 25 mm below HP and 45 mm behind VP. So in which quadrant this point represents? Okay, I'll do one. You do one thing. You draw this in a sheet of paper and take a photo of that and send it in our chat. Okay, I'll see and I'll understand like whether you are able to. So whether you understood the concept or not. Okay, you draw that and send that in the Microsoft Teams. Okay, one. The second one is which distance will be visible in the front view. Okay, so always there will be two distances. Which distance will be in front view and top view. Okay, always you need to remember one thing. So the distance which is given with respect to horizontal view, so that will be visible in front view. Okay, the distance which is given with respect to vertical plane, so that will be visible in top view. Okay, so that you need to remember. So if you draw the reference line something like this, x and y, so which quadrant it belongs? It's a third quadrant. So what is the pattern of third quadrant? HP will be above reference line and VP will be below the reference line. So that's the pattern of the third quadrant. Okay. Next, you need to decide which distance is visible in the front view. So this is visible in the front view, right? So the front view you will get in vertical plane. So here you need to draw a dot. And you will get the front view here. So this is nothing but the name of the point. Many mentioned this. Everyone mentioned A dash. The name of the point is C. You need to mention with C. So this will be my front view C dash, and this will be my top view C. And this distance will be 25, and this distance will be 45. Am I right? So someone can answer. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So many have done correctly, but a few made a mistake. It's understandable because first time this will happen. So nothing wrong in that. Like first time this will happen, but one thing is like you need to mention that as a C. The point name is C, right? Not A. And Kamlesh Chaudhary, are you there? Kamlesh Chaudhary, this, you drawn this. So this is not required. Okay. Okay, next. I just want to add few points. Okay. So coming to this. So in which quadrant this point belongs? D. In which quadrant point D belongs?
Above x-axis.
No, in which quadrant?
First and second.
Sir, is the first quadrant.
Yeah, but it's on HP, right? It's common for both first
And second.
and second. Okay. So in which quadrant point belongs? Point E.
For all quadrants.
Something like this. The point is something like this. So in which quadrant belongs? Yeah, it belongs to all four quadrants. So it belongs to all four quadrants. All four. Okay. Okay, just I want to add, because this concept is relatively new to, right? So I just want to add one thing. See, so I'll show it here. point D is on VP and 30 mm above HP. So in which quadrant this belongs? D is on VP and 30 mm above HP. In which quadrant it belongs?
First and second.
So let's say belongs to both first and second. So you can choose any one quadrant. Let's say first quadrant, something like this. The point itself is on VP, something like this. Okay. So if you see the front view of this, so that is 30 mm. You will see this. What is the name of the point? Front view is D dash, D dash. So you will see this 30 mm. Okay. When you see the top view, then you will get the point. So how the top view will look like? Can
Sir, like the point.
No, like a point, but what will be the position of the point?
Sir, it will be like on the horizontal plane, sir.
It will be on the horizontal plane, but so it is on the vertical plane, right? So if you see from here, what will happen? You will see the point is also on the reference line. Okay. So, but what is the position of the reference line in the top view? The reference line is somewhere here. Am I right? So your point will be something like this. We'll get the point here on the reference line, something like this. So this will be my A and this will be my A dash. So you'll get something like this. Is that clear? Whether you are able to understand? So solution for this particular problem. So whether you are able to understand?
Yes, sir.
So how many of you are not clear with this solution? So how many of you are not clear with the solution?
Solution, sir, we will have to mention that where is horizontal plane and where is vertical plane. Like
Yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah, that because I thought like you already know. So your vertical plane will be here and the horizontal plane will be here. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So even though if you assume that the point is in the second quadrant, you will get the same answer. If you want, you can try that, okay? Okay. So with this, I am closing today's class. So in the next class, we will see the projection of lines, okay?
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, when we will assume that the point is in the second quadrant, then we will have to mention HP and VP on the same above the XY.
Yeah, only this will change, but this point will not change.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So any doubts? Any other doubts?